We just need to listen to ourselves a bit more and not everybody else. There's a lot of noise out there right now.
Welcome back to another episode of Let's Get Candid. I'm your host, Ziggy, with my amazing co-host.
I'm your girl, Lori.
And we are back again for another episode. And today's episode, we're going to be talking about your true calling. So finding your purpose and also the difficulties that you might go through in the process of actually making that a reality and rising above it. So Lauren, what do you think about today's conversation?
I think the conversation is going to be an interesting one because we're finding now people are exploring. People are trying to figure out, different avenues for them. I had a conversation earlier today where it's like, you can have a job and you can have a passion and they don't have to necessarily be the same
they don't
thing.
always match up.
Exactly. And what we're finding is sometimes you find people leaving their jobs to go towards a passion and making that what they do, which I am excited for our guest because she's one of those people who has done that. So I am going to turn it to our lovely lady over here to introduce herself.
Oh, yeah. Well, my name is Crystal Erica Joan Oriel Charles. I hail from Grand Turk. Everyone knows me, or most people who do know me as Tess. And I am a performer right here from the Turks and Caicos Islands.
I love it. Rep it down.
Amen.
Oh, gosh. But, I think this conversation, and it's one that we would have had even outside of here, but one that I know, knowing you have been very open about, right? For those who don't know your background prior to you becoming a performer, just give us that history of you leaving from Grand Turk and then getting to where you are now.
So, I went to school and I started doing business actually at the community college. And then I was like, no. I wanted to do hospitality, but my mommy was like, okay, do 2 years of business here in Grand Turk first, and then you can go to the community college in Provo and do the 2 years of hospitality. Then you can go away and go to school. And I was like, okay. And I started, and I was working as well in the House of Assembly. Big up Miss Ruth Blackman. And then I just stopped going to class. So I dropped out of school and was working. And then Miss Julia called my mommy. Small town living. And I was just like, listen, I'm not going to do it. I've never been really great at doing things that I don't want to do. So I didn't want to do it. I didn't do it. And I ended up in Provo to come and do the hospitality course that they were offering here at the college, at the TCI Community College. I did it. And I was also working throughout the time I was going to college here in Provo as well at Nikki Beach, that you guys would now know as Blue Haven.
Yeah.
Right. And then I realized I'm all for college. But then I realized what I'm doing and what I'm learning is not coming together. It's not meshing. I don't see the correlation. So I was just like, all right. I did my associates in hospitality, but I ended up doing about 8 years in hospitality through the front of house. So front desk and concierge, and then front desk assistant manager, and ting, up to guest services manager. And then the call came.
Okay, so when you say the call, right? Like, what do you mean by that?
Well, I have always been, I grew up in a multicultural home. I grew up in a home of music and of talent and, all these things. My mom sang, and my father plays drums and another couple of instruments. So, and I mean, it was always so good. It was always reggae. It was always this going on. I was always a singer and I was always a dancer. Very active in school and all these things. So it was always in me. I never thought it was a thing because it was just a part of my life. However, I do remember at 7 years old, I was being asked what I wanted to be, and I said I wanted to be a singer. And then there's like, what else you can do? So that kind of dampened the ember right there, and I was like, okay, so that's not a thing, but it was always in me. I came to Provo, and when I used to go out, I would always be at Danny Boy's, and I would do karaoke. So it came a time where I wasn't doing karaoke anymore. I was performing. I was on the people's tables. I was a regular. When I walk in, they just used to put my name up and give me the mic. It was that serious. Right? So again, it was just, I didn't think it was a thing. It was just, all these things were happening, and it was part of me, and I was enjoying it. It was just what I wanted to do, and I did it. So it was Cass Forbes. He is a friend of mine, and he was at my house. He was getting ready to host the 2013 Miss Turks and Caicos Universe. And he asked me to sing. And I was like, you sure? And he was like, yeah, you're great. You're a singer, so-and-so. So I said, okay. And I prepared my stuff, and I went up. And at that moment, it was a lot of things going on. But the call came, that's 2013 in April. Keziah had been killed and buried that same day when they had the event. And we all know, how that happened. And it was a very, very emotional time for a lot of us here, like the whole nation. So I went to the funeral that morning, and I was all in my feelings. And then I went to the event that evening, and I sang Stay by Rihanna. But at the end, I sang I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. And it was a dedication to the family of the slain, as well as to just the country and people who were in mourning and going against gun violence and all these things. I started to get very emotional. I cried in the middle of the second song, and I pulled myself together, but I had my eyes closed, and I finished the song. And when I opened my eyes, there were hundreds of people just on their feet crying. Men, women, children, the judges, the dignitaries, everybody was feeling what I was feeling in that moment. And at that moment, that's when I realized that this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to reach people. I wanted to, by way of singing, I wanted to reach people. I wanted to make people feel how I felt. I wanted to be able to change a room. I wanted to feel that great feeling of everyone just sharing that energy at that moment. So that was my call right there. That was when I decided that I wanted to sing.
So just to touch into what you said about the thing, because a lot of times I think a lot of persons have these talents, and like Lauren said, like things that they're good at, but it's considered as a thing, or your parents or your friends are like, they look at you side eye like, you really sure about that? Because it's all about the stable jobs and the stable lawyers and so on.
Right.
The other things look like play.
Right.
But now we know it ain't play.
Right.
But for someone who is trying to find their thing, what would you say, like, how do they navigate? Because I believe that it's within all of us. Like, we all have our thing that we can do, and it's our passion. But how do some persons who may not know can actually get themselves to that place?
I think we need to not take ourselves so seriously. I think we just need to live. That is literally what I have done, and it is what I continue doing. I try to stay away from too much structure, because that hinders who you are. It hinders your spirit. It hinders where your calling, your spirit, your energy, God is calling you to. We try to plan, and we try to go this way and go that way, and I'm figuring out what I want to do, and I'm figuring out, and you're just trying things at the wall and hoping it stick. You're gonna know what you're good at. You're going to know. You're going to be good at it. You're going to like it, and you may not even be good at it, but you may just have this burning. You want to do it. You want to do something, and just do it. That's all it is. Just be. Just be. There's no. I find myself quite annoyed these days about the do this, and this is 10 tips to do this, and help, you need to, you get up early and you go do this, and it's, you know. I believe in discipline. I believe in cultivating habits. I believe in hobbies. I believe in working and responsibility and learning and school and all of these things because they help us in the long run. However, they also hinder us quite a bit because once we get into that structure, we find it very hard to get out of. And it steers you in a way to, I need to do this and I need to do that. Your calling, your passion, your purpose, your whatever it is that you're meant to do, you will know. You just have to listen. You have to listen. I've always been a great listener to myself.
You're watching the #1 talk show in Turks and Caicos and globally. And Lauren, what do they need to do?
Listen, you're already here. You might as well like, subscribe, and follow. You're already watching the episode, honey. Just get on it.
Let's get that clear. I listen to myself a lot, down to the food I eat. I went on a trip for a long time. In 2022, I went on a retreat for a very long time. I knew that I wanted to go to Jamaica and I wanted to just do everything naturally. But it came a point where I just couldn't, this is years, but it came a point where I could not, I couldn't put it off anymore. And I just bit the bullet. I found the money, I found the time, I made it, and I just did it. And it was a life-changing experience for me. I knew that I wanted to do that. I don't know where, it wasn't an idea that was planted in my head. I just knew that it was something that I needed to do. So I think that we just need to listen to ourselves a bit more and not everybody else. There's a lot of noise out there right now. There's always been guidance and love and parents and aunts and uncles. All these things come across, a lot of things that guide us. They're from great places with great intentions. But we need to understand that being autonomous is a great thing. Listening to yourself is a great thing. And being against the world sometimes is the thing that you need to be. And it's a great thing. So it's not going to look like the right thing to a lot of people. I think the only advice that I can give is be courageous. Be courageous in everything that you do. Do it. Listen to yourself and do what you need to do. And if it looks like a fail, and if it looks like a fall down, it's fine. Get up. You'll be all right. You learn something,
I was going to say, I want us to go deeper into what you were talking about with there being a noise and how there's always going to be noise around you saying, no, you can't do this, or no, you shouldn't do this because A, B, C, and D.
Right.
So how did you deal with that? Deciding, okay, what I'm about to do now is I'm going to leave my job and go all in on this.
I used to say I was a rebel. I'm a rebel. So I love to do things people tell me not to do. They don't expect me to do. Truly, that's what it is. I had a friend. I called that morning. The morning I resigned, 5 o'clock. I go, holy mother's bed. Hollering. I couldn't do it anymore. I wanted to be, because again, there was what's expected, and there's the noise, and there's, hard times don't last always, and you gotta push through, and it's right on the other side, and all these things are true, but sometimes you gotta know when you gotta go. That ain't the thing that, you gotta never know them full, you understand?
Walk away and do
Well, you saw that, Charlie. The music coming out.
Good music.
Good music, correct, precise. But I for a while things were going wrong. I wasn't giving my best. I wasn't feeling my best. I didn't feel appreciated. I didn't find love in what I was doing anymore. I wasn't excited about it. It was literally, what I could say to not go to work today. It was excruciating. There are things I find within myself I cannot do for too long. I just can't. if it feels like it's wrong and you're not supposed to be there, you need to, again, it goes back to just listening to yourself. It's the gut. So I wanted to stay, again, because people, you're in the community, you're moving around, and we want to be a part of the community. We want to be, everybody needs community. Everybody needs fellowship. Everybody needs love. We all have our own little gatherings, our little silos, our little small communities within the larger community. And we already know that there are lots of things that are accepted and that they're loved, and you have a different respect when you are a certain thing, or you run with a certain crowd, or you look a certain way, or whatever it is. And I enjoyed going up through the ranks and people commending me on the great job that I do. You look so nice, and you got a good job, and you got a nice title, and you's people. You understand? Nice people. I had to get up being people to go, you going to do what? So all of that was a thing. You got to go through all that. And I find that many times, because of my courage, that translates, I guess, to a lot of people as confidence. People assume that I don't go through all of these trials and these pains and these pushes and pulls with myself about where I'm living, what I'm doing, who I want to be, and what I want for my life, and how this is going to affect me, or if I am affected, and all these things. It's just that the will to be me and to follow me is stronger than to be whatever else, or to follow the status quo, or to try to attain the status quo. So I got up December 1st, 2015, and I bawl. And I said, I can't do this no more. And I went in and I read my resignation.
Right there, the job.
On the people job. On the computer.
On the computer.
Printed with ink. And it was wax.
Because that's rush, that's high season too. Because they're like,
season. They was wax. And baby, let me tell you, they can be wax. People can be wax.
Yeah.
Your mama can be wax. Your daddy can be wax. Your aunties and your godmas and your well wishers and your mentors and the this ones and the that ones and the people who employ you and the people who depend on you, because I had a team and all of these things. Listen, do what you can do, but when it comes down to it, it's about you. It's about you. This whole, we're depending on you and the this and the that. The world will go on. We had COVID and all. Do all bounced back and did what it needed to do. I also find that people allow all of that. The responsibility, I'm so important here, and we love the importance as well. Yeah. I'm so important here, and they can't do it with it. They can.
And they will.
They can, and they will. Everybody, if anybody here leaves now, somebody else can fill in. If y'all can't do this, and the show must go on, the show will go on. Your path is your path. What's for you is for you. You need to listen. And everything that is built up in the worldwide Delulu is what I call it. The world accepted Delulu that we live in. It's replaceable. But your calling is not replaceable. It shouldn't be. You can divert from it, but it shouldn't be. So yeah, there was a lot going on, but I left anyway, because again, I was just so uncomfortable. I was just so uncomfortable. It was I couldn't do it no more. I don't know if that's what you asked me, but that's what
that works though, yes.
I think like you made an important point, because sometimes persons they're constantly thinking about what everybody else is going to think about the decision that they should make for themselves. So they end up living a life That has nothing to do about them, really and truly. It's
Yep.
about, oh, I have to, this person's depend on me, like you said,
Right.
everyone. So you forget about what you really want. So some people live in this life, and then sometimes I feel like persons who do that, they have resentment to themselves, and it comes out at you. So you mad that you can't do your thing, so you take it out on someone else.
Oh, baby, let me tell you. Let me tell you, okay? Because I have become a reflector for the resentment. Like I said, the people just be rocks. Upset. I ain't telling you don't live the life you want to live. What you asked me for? Because I live the life I want to live. I'm wearing the clothes I want to wear. I'm going the places I want to go. I'm doing things I want to do. I'm looking the way I'm friends with the people I want to be friends with, and not because of whatever the case may be. Like, literally, and some people don't even know, it just manifests that way. They don't, they have no knowledge that they being how they being, and they raining on your parade because they too would like to have a parade. However, they have been instructed that it'll be better and it'll be safer for them to just watch the parade from the sidelines. It's a big balloon. I in the parade. Yeah, no, like that, it is a thing. That's why I say, like, the guidance and everything, we all know that it comes from a great place, but sometimes you have to. Rebellion is not a bad thing. Rebellion is not a bad thing.
And sometimes guidance can be misguided.
Correct, because people are guiding you as best as they know how, with the knowledge that they have from a time that they lived in, and for what they want for you, which may be the best in their minds, but that's not necessarily the best for you. You understand? So we need to be able to take all of the goodness, the good intentions. Most of the time it's good intentions, not all of the time. We need to take the good intentions that people have for us, and we need to translate that into our lives. Everything is about, like, just picking the sense out of the nonsense and seeing how we can infuse it into our lives as best as we can, but live our lives.
So how do you handle that, like dealing with all the pressures that other people put on you, and even the pressures you may have on yourself? Because, being a full-time entertainer, you are in a seasonal kind of business where you do feel pressures at times, and then you do have people who depend on you. So how do you manage and maneuver those feelings?
How do I manage and maneuver the feelings? Which feelings are those again?
The feelings of pressure,
Pressure.
I guess
I
maybe
allow
at the
myself.
beginning. Yeah.
I just allow myself to be. I allow myself, and that's how I get through everything. Like, I've had lots of people. We don't necessarily tell our stories, but I'm very vocal about everything that goes on in my life, because I find that a lot of times I feel alone, and if I speak, then other people will find solace and fellowship with me. I know that they're not alone, and also I just like talk. So, but in life I've been through a whole lot of things, and I just allow myself to be. I just allow myself to go through them. If I'm depressed for a time, I allow myself to be that. If I'm overly happy, I allow myself to be that. If I am anxious and scared, I allow myself to be that. If I'm whatever I am, I allow myself, but I still go forward. I go forward. Sometimes you have to take a breath. You have to just stop. But you got to keep pushing forward in your lane, in the path that's set for you, or that you're setting for yourself. Sometimes you gotta kick the rock yourself in a road. Deal with the pressures. I try to just not let people bother me. I don't like people to tell me things. Certain things. I don't like people to tell me things. You know me. I got out of the habit of saying I don't care. I do care. I know that I do care. Your opinion, your advice, your sip from off the road, they saying this, your care, your all these things, it's going to affect me. It's going to affect me. I tell people all the time, unless it's imminent danger, don't tell me. I don't want to know. Keep it to yourself. People's opinions of me and all these things, don't tell me. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. So I have moved in that way. And those that are close to me also know that because I verbalized it. And I think that when you move in a certain way and you give off a certain energy, then things will fall into place. So I have pressures, obviously, but I don't have a lot of the pressure that a lot of other people have on them, because you have your mom talking to you, your pa talking to you, your aunties telling you this, the job telling you this, you watching this on TV and on social media, and your friends telling you this. There's this expectation, there's this, and there's this, that. And I don't necessarily have a traditional path either. So like, there's no expectation of me. So, and if they have an expectation, keep it to themselves. You understand? So, dealing with the pressures there are pressures. I think again, it's just about tapping into yourself. Tapping into yourself. God lives within us, each and every one of us. So you're tapping into God, you're tapping into your spirit, you're tapping into that energy, you're tapping into you. If we quiet a lot of the things that are going on, a lot of the people that's talking at us and talking to us, and just listen to ourselves, we'll realize that we have a whole lot to say. There's a whole lot you know already. So that's how I deal with the pressure. I try not to listen to too many voices. I try to just listen to myself, and I allow myself to be in the moment of whatever emotions and issues and things that I need to do. And I also I believe in myself. So I know I could handle whatever it is. I've been bouncing about on my own for a long time, and I had to figure plenty of things out on my own. So I know that I can get through it, and I get through it.
I like how you said to just be, because a lot of persons, like you've mentioned, have the pressure and they have the noises and they don't want to follow their calling. There was a mantra I had this week, and it was, don't try to create the narrative, because a lot of times we're doing that. We're trying, like, we see what we should be doing, or we try to envision something, and then we try to make the pieces come together. And like you said, when you just be, you realize how certain things either come together or they fall apart, and you're so happy because you don't have to give yourself anxiety or stress yourself out to try and glue this together, watch it break, glue it back together, watch it break. But you get to see something bloom naturally by just being you, tapping into yourself and just listening to what it is that you want to do for yourself.
You know, and I agree with both of you on that fact, because it's just, it's easy to want to control everything. It's easy to want to hope that people are going to act like this towards you or act like this. And it's easy to have these hopes for what's going to happen to you. But the only thing you can control really is your response to anything that happens.
Right.
That's it. You have no say in whether something will go your way or not. It's just, how do you receive that coming in?
Yeah, because we have this fixation with quaffing ourselves in a certain way so that people will see you a certain way, so that they'll treat you a certain way, so that you...
And it's just toughening up yourself, I think, as well.
Courage, being tough. Yeah. We're too soft, man.
That's a key word that she said on that, and I think that should be a lot of people's takeaway. Like, have the courage to just be yourself, to just step into your own light, because there's something, and I can resonate with what you said, there's something about when you do something that you're passionate about, it makes you feel confident, because this is your thing, and you know, nobody can do my thing like how I do my thing, and it gives you that courage. You're like, but I don't care what you say, because I know so well that I'm doing my thing and the way I'm supposed to be doing it, that what you say couldn't even matter, even if you thought it would.
And one of the last questions I do want to ask before we get to our bowl, you had touched on you going away to Jamaica.
Yeah.
And for me, already knowing most of the experience, I think it is one that people should hear about to get an understanding of why you did it and what you gained from it. So I want you to go just a little deeper into what that was, because I think the idea of having to deal with yourself, a lot of us, we're so busy in our day-to-day lives that you don't have to sit down and actually
And we put it off a lot of times.
You know?
Yeah. I think I had not been with myself for so long at that time. It was just, I had to do it to find myself, to center myself. But first of all, I take the vaccine, it almost killed me. So I was sick. COVID hit. There was all the anxiety. There was, oh no, Henny Penny, the wall is falling. right? So you're like, okay, I need to get this. There's this opportunity and I need to get it. So I was working 3 jobs. At the time, I was at the chamber, I was at Fast Track, I was doing my thing, full force. I was exhausted. I was mentally exhausted and unstable. Anyway, because we had just come off of the instability of COVID, lockdowns, and
All the things.
All the things.
the terror and the treacherous.
The sky has fallen.
The sky had fallen, right? So there was all of that. Then I was working a lot. I was not being able to be my best. And again, like I said, after I took that vaccine, baby, my body say womp, womp, womp. I had bleeding in my stomach. I got COVID a couple times. And then working through COVID, because I basically am, I'm a wind instrument, you know, dealing with the lungs was a serious situation. I was trying to keep up my physical health. I was trying to deal with my mental health. I was trying to get back into the everything of it all. I was trying to buy a house. I was trying to do all these things. I was making money. I was like, you know, after things came back, money was bout. And I didn't want it. And I got it. And they still ain't selling me my house. But anyway, it was just so much going on. And I knew that for me to, I felt like I was gonna die. Truly. Like, that's literally what it was. I felt like I was gonna die. I felt like I was a vapor. I felt like I wasn't within I didn't feel full. I felt like this. At all times, I just felt like this. I felt slumped over in a chair waiting to die. I had thing after thing after thing. I went to the hospital. I had asthma again. All the things. I was tired all the time. I couldn't breathe properly. Everyone's expecting so much of me at work and all these things. And then again, I'm a performer. I'm not just a singer. I'm a performer. I'm an entertainer. And I wasn't living up to, I wasn't happy because I wasn't living up to what I know I could do either, because I was so exhausted all the time. Then I got diagnosed with PCOS in a couple of those trips to the doctor. And I just I was agitated all the time. Dog, I started growing like a whole goatee, man. I was a dude. Because, you know, it's all of the too much testosterone. Yeah. I had too much testosterone in my lady parts. So things was not going the way it's supposed to go. And it changed my mood, all these things. And I was just like, you know, I don't like medicine and doctors like that. I love y'all, actually. I love y'all. Good luck. I love y'all. Thank you for all the help you've given me so far. Thank you, guys. However,
disclaimer.
I would like, I gotta go back to the doctor. But I like prevention and not even, I like prevention and cure and not pain management and dismanagement and whatever and everything that we go it doesn't get rid of anything. So I know that, you know, I believe and I know that everything to live a healthy life, you have to be healthy. And the things that we're accustomed to right now that we even believe are healthy, I don't subscribe to it being healthy. I believe that natural as possible is where you can find health and the real wealth, which is going to be feeling good and living a life. Because if you don't feel good, then, you know, you living, how you living? Yeah. What's, you know. So I feel bad. And I was like, yeah, I gotta go. I have to go.
If you've been enjoying the conversations we've been having so far on the show, get into the comment section, go on our Instagram page and comment and let us know what you've been thinking. Also, we want you to get candid with your friends, your family at the dinner tables and the community that you're in.
And I mean, if you're about to start discussions outside of the show, you can also have a discussion here on the show with us. If you get on our Instagram page at let's.getcandid and just send us a DM saying you want to be a part, we'd love to have you.
I had stopped eating so many different things. And it was just nothing would work. I I was getting lower and lower and lower and lower. So I decided, I need a break. I took a break, actually. I took a 2-week break. And my throat was doing what it needed to do. I had acid reflux. I had all the things. Baby, let me tell you something. I eat anything. I couldn't even enjoy food. It was horrible. So I was like, yeah, I need a reset. So I went to Jamaica. Jamaica, my mother grew up in Jamaica. I have Jamaican roots. My grandfather is Jamaican on my mommy's side. And I've always had such an affection for Jamaica because it has such a vibrancy, and the nature is just beautiful. It's just, it feels healing. So I Googled this place. I Googled it. I was like, retreat in Jamaica. I looked it up. I called the people. I booked it. And I went, and it was all natural. It wasn't, I guess you will kind of call it vegan. A little vegan situation. But we had eggs because there's really eggs. I talked so much, I don't remember what the question was, but I remember why I went. Was that it?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was sick, and that's why I went. And I Googled everything. I dropped everything. I told everybody I was so scared. I was so scared because I was coming off of this COVID situation. I was coming off of I was down to like the last of my savings. And then I got a little job, and it was helping me through. And I get little jobs here and there, here and there. Let me tell you something. I never failed. I never went broke. I paid my rent. I paid my water, my light, my food. I still fat. Everything. The dogs have food. I was good. I was always good. And that's why I try to tell myself, like, I don't know why we just let ourselves, as godly people, why we still let ourselves get so worried about, oh my God, I got debt. I ain't got no money. I ain't got no things. I ain't got this. I ain't got that. If we believe and we say and we know, there will be a little, apprehensiveness every now and then, but we have to believe that we're going to be okay, and we're going to be okay. I was always good. So, but it was just this anxiety that was put into the world, man.
Yeah.
That I couldn't get over. And I was just like, I gotta get it. And out there now, I gotta get it. Deal, I gotta get it. Baby, let me tell you something. Ain't going nowhere. But anyway, I was so afraid to tell all of my jobs that I had just reacquired that I need to go away for 30 days. 30 full days. That's 4 weekends, waffle walk. And then when I came, because I was also sick in the throat, I had to do like 1 week on, 1 week off to start getting myself back into it. So essentially I had to be out for like almost 2 months. And I had just gotten back into it. So I was so scared, man. Let me tell you, I cry. I was frightened. I take forever to send emails. And then I was just like, you know what? It got to get done. Do it. Did it. Went. Changed my life. You want to know more? Holla at me. Because I can talk all night. But yeah, it really, really changed my life. And I don't like to give like unsolicited advice about those types of things. But I think that the closer you could get to nature is the best for you. All that pigtail and things we used to be eating and beers we used to be drinking on the weekend. Yeah, baby.
It'll catch up to you.
I am 34, honey, and it caught up to me. Okay? They're making us like they used to no more. We ain't built for a tough no more. We so off. So that's Nokia tough. Put them Nokias. Drop it from 2 stories. Still ringing. Now, these iPhones fall down. Need a new one. So yeah, I went because I was ill, and that was a really, really tough decision for me to make. Just coming off, just getting back on, just doing this. But I would have been no use to anyone, including myself, if I just kept letting myself go down. So yeah, I went to Jamaica.
And that's really, it was a mouthful, but it's really good because I think what I found popping out of that is the fact that you're going to have to make some risk when it comes to you. Like you said, like if you didn't went, you'll be no good to nobody else. And I think sometimes we forget that we have to take care of ourselves. We have to pay attention to ourselves and be yourself, because if I don't take care of me, I ain't going to be no good to you, Let's Get Candid, or anyone else until I take time to really deal with myself and also to really, like you said, get back to nature, get back to who you are. Sometimes you need to hit that reset button. A lot of times we are afraid because we're like, things all about, and I could do this now, and they calling me, and the price going up, like Leo normally says. But there's all these different things that's going on, and you're like,
feeling like the things will disappear
if you don't jump on the opportunity now. But like you said, it can always be there. If God wants you to have that, even when you come back 2 months later, it will still be there and even better for you.
Yeah. No.
I was gonna say, my mommy always used to tell me this, and this was more towards partying or whatever, right? But I find that everything you can't done it, it will done you.
Every Cadillac don't mean come.
You can't done it. You can't done money. You can't done jobs. You can't done it. And what for you is for you. Again, as a godly nation, we need to be a whole lot more into that part. Like, be courageous. God on your side. Go ahead. Do what you gotta do. He got you.
Run for it.
Jump. There's something that all the little things that you can say, right? Good.
Now, now we are going to go into the bowl. Now, we usually do a segment called What You Know About Us. And as our guest today, you have to pick a question from the bowl that is written by our lovely producer, Leo. And once you pick out a question, you just say the number on the back and it'll pop up on the screen, all right?
All right.
So let faith and God lead you.
We'll answer the same question.
We'll answer it with you too.
18.
18. All right. Now, Grace, what's the hardest thing
What a timely
you've
question.
ever gone through?
Bomb. Bullet.
That's it.
Wow. Yikes. Woo. Dang.
Okay, so
I'm still thinking.
I know what my hardest thing was so far. When I moved, probably a month or 2 months before I moved, I began to become really depressed, right? And it got to a point where I was like, I want nothing to do with Turks and Caicos, which is crazy. You know, I was like, I'm changing my phone numbers, I'm deleting everybody, I deleted all my social media in the middle of what it was, Irma, and we were in Amsterdam at the time. In the middle of Irma, as soon as I heard the power went out in Turks and Caicos, I deleted everything. I was like, y'all never can see me again, right? And the reason it got to that point was because I didn't feel safe anymore. I didn't feel like home was home. It just got to a point where I couldn't trust people, you know, and it just felt like everywhere I was going, I was looking over my shoulder because it was just like, who's talking about me, or who's saying something about me, or who is against me, and I don't know it because I'm just hearing things, right? And it took me, gosh, I can remember I had to come back home in October. That like month after I moved, I had so much anxiety on the plane. I was literally shaking as the plane was landing. Like I was freaking out. I didn't want to be back. And it took me about a year to get to a point where I was like, I'm okay with home. I still didn't want to move home. Even after 2021, I did not want to come back home at all. You know, and COVID and all the things, it causes you to come back. And I can say now I love the place. I do love home. But it was so difficult for me because I hated the place that I was from, and I did not trust my own people. And I didn't like that because all I got is Turks and Caicos. I ain't got no family from nowhere else. So for me, it was really difficult mentally having to completely say, I'm wiping away all of my past, all of my history here, and having to become or make anew my life outside of here. So yeah.
Okay, while it's fresh in my mind, let me jump on the question. So, okay, for me, the hardest thing that I've ever gone through, and I think it would be learning to fully accept myself without comparisons or without feeling like, or sizing yourself up as if you're not good enough if you don't do this or you don't like this. So it became this thing where like, I would be scrolling through social media and I'll see someone doing this, and then it would immediately be a question to myself, well, why aren't you doing this? Or why aren't they supporting you like this? Or it became, so it instantly became everything you saw is like you struggled to be happy for someone truly because you were still questioning, well, am I good enough? Am I good enough? Am I good enough? And although you're surrounded by people, I always talk about my friends and family, like very supportive and always see the good and the value, even in the bad. But I struggled with getting to that place of fully accepting. And it was a long process. I had to it's still a process sometimes, if I'm going to be completely honest. It's just, like you said, just being yourself. Like, this is me. If it can't change, if this is who I am and it's ingrained into me, this is who God has created me to be, and I can't change it, then just accept it. And if there's something about you that you don't like, that you can change, then change it. And you don't have to size yourself up to anyone else, because your blessings are for you. Whatever is for you is going to be for you. So it was difficult. Even when I did pageants while still not fully accepting myself. So it become this thing where you're like, super conscious about the way you look, the way you sound, if you size up to the other person. And it became this thing where when I would be practicing for pageants, if I told myself, okay, I'm going to do 5 runway walks, if I messed up at halfway, I'm like, you're doing all 5 over again. And I kept doing it. So I felt like I've put immense pressure on myself to meet this mark, whatever this mark was. But as of lately, I've started to learn, and through therapy and just being to myself and trying to just pay attention, but also really getting more closer with God, I realized, just be yourself. Like, it's going to work out. Like you said, it's just going to work out. And in the end, you don't have to compare yourself. And over time, it became this thing where you're genuinely happy for people. You genuinely want to see people succeed and win, simply because you've just stopped comparing them to you, because you're 2 completely different people.
Oh, that's deep. That's vulnerable, girl.
They can be proud of me because they know I don't do the vulnerable stuff on TV.
Oh, love it, darling.
You.
Good. All right, Jessica.
So, for me, I think that the hardest thing I've ever gone through is a recurring thing, and it's finding joy in the hard things that I go through. I've had, separation between me and my father. I had to come to grips with where that was going to be and how that relationship, what that relationship was going to yield. I've been deceived by someone that I trusted and I loved and I let into my life and lied to and all these things. And I've been assaulted, I've been raped, and then I tried to find out what was the purpose of that. Like, how do I turn that? Where's the lesson in it? Those are really, 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 really hard things. Also, not being a savior to people. There are many, many, many hard, and I can't really rank them above the other, because those are really, really hard, ongoing things that I deal with every day. But the hardest thing is to find the joy and to keep being myself, not to let myself dissipate in the terror and the fear and the hard things of life. Keeping myself and allowing myself to change, but to keep my joy, to find it and to keep my joy. That is the hardest thing that I continually have to do throughout all the other hard things in life.
That was deep too. Yeah, I know.
You'll make me almost want to cry.
Oh, cry, please.
Gosh, ladies, I'm so proud of you both. As somebody who knows you both very well.
Yes.
Oh, listen, okay. But Tess, thank you so much for being willing to be yourself, especially in a space where
It's frowned upon.
It's frowned upon. It's easy to be told that you need to be a clone of something, and also being open enough to say exactly how you feel, the things you feel, because I'm sure whoever is going to be watching this, there's going to be somebody who's going to say, if she can do it, I can relate. If she can do it, if she can jump out and say, let me go and do this, why can't I, right? And I also want to say to you, Ziggy, I'm so proud of you. You're vulnerable. Oh, gosh, wait, I actually want to cry. Guys, thank you so much.
I am crying.
For another episode.
Oh, sorry, I can't cry, so I can.
This has been such a lovely episode. Oh,
Yes,
gosh.
yes.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, because, Lord, I'm ready to go in the back and start hollering. Thank you so much.
It has definitely been a great conversation. Like Lauren said, Tess, thank you so much for coming on and being on the show. I think people need to see what rebellion, like you said, looks like. What it looks like to go against the grain and say that this is who I am and this is who I want to be. And you can't possibly tell me how I should be me, because you're not me. You don't know what I feel or what I go through. No matter how much words we use out of our dictionary, how many ways we try to paint a picture to someone, you can never get them to feel exactly what it is that you feel and what you go through. And that's why it's so important to trust yourself. Like you said, trust yourself, because yourself know you. Like you know each other. You go together. Like no one else can tell you how to be you. I know, right? So it's so important to just trust yourself, and it's okay. There's gonna be people who don't believe in it, who can't see it. They'll probably spin the block, come back, and be like, okay, I see what you was trying to do before. But to be courageous, even when it doesn't seem like it's something that can be done. And to go back to your last point that you had made, that going through different things and finding the joy, because we all go through something, and we all go through something what feels like sometimes every single day of the week. Find a way to find joy, and a joy that does not really so much stem from other people or other things that are changeable. If you're religious, then I'd say find joy and peace and comfort in God, and knowing that He's always there for you, because sometimes for me that's literally how I just get back and zen in. Just, okay, God, let's read the Bible. What did you say? Okay, so this is what you say. And then I have these conversations where I'm like, look, I feel like this, so what we finna do? And then He just gives you this peace that just trespasses understanding. So just know that you're not alone, that there are people who can relate to you. And if you need to find community, if you need to find someone, know that there are people out there for you. Trust your calling, trust who you were created to be, and know that there's a space for you, so own it. And this has been another episode of Let's Get Candid, and we are so happy that you stayed with us, and we can't wait to see you in the next episode.